This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Here's what headlines are making the news on this January 14th.
Are you able to get out? Yes, we're already out, but there's still people on the third floor with babies.
Terrifying moments captured in this 911 call as residents of a burning apartment building come together to save two small children and their mother trapped on the top floor. How their heroic efforts saved lives.
Plus, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg is getting a boost of star power ahead of tonight's final Democratic presidential debate. Hear actress Mandy Moore's passionate endorsement.
And for people with disabilities, finding a steady and decent paying job can be difficult. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson gives us a look at how one local organization is trying to change that. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right. Todd Clausen is standing by with what we can expect for our Tuesday. And Todd, it is January. I'm not complaining.
No, you know, we're already above normal once again here this morning. Normally, our low temperature should be down right around 20 degrees. We're sitting at 36 currently, and we're on our way up into the 50s later on this afternoon. So there's a bit of a chill this morning. Even though we're above normal, you still need to have that jacket. 31 in Tipton as well as Lafayette. Pair of threes down in Bloomington, and it's 35 currently in Martinsville, 34 over in Richmond. We have this little pocket of clear skies, and you'll wake to some sunshine here across the area. And as you head off to work, there won't be any issues out there on the roadways. And as we expand out, you do notice there is some clouds off to our west. So we're going to kind of toggle between sunshine and clouds throughout the day today. What we will not see is this rain that is just to our south that is going to scoop by off towards the east. So really, it's a decent day for us with partly to mostly cloudy skies, but notice the temperature 45 degrees by the noon hour. High temperatures will be climbing up into the low 50s later on this afternoon. Our normal high is 35, so it's another above normal day. Changes are heading our way, though, by the end of the week. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Here's a look right now at your drive times in Hamilton County. Good morning to you. Starting at State Road 37, heading southbound on Interstate 69 down to the I-465 ramps. It is smooth sailing, a 5-minute commute, so no delays. Taking you down to the south side, we're still monitoring some road maintenance operations that are closing some left lanes here of westbound I-465. This is near State Road 37 right before you get to the Harding Street exit, kind of between there and the East Street exit, so use caution. You can see traffic in that spot is still traveling up to speed.
A boil water advisory remains in effect this morning for parts of Hamilton County. The warning applies to all American Water customers in Noblesville and parts of Fishers. The company says a loss of pressure at a water treatment plant caused the problem. You're advised to boil all drinking and cooking water for 3 minutes. Water for washing and bathing is okay, according to the company. Because of the advisory, Noblesville schools will have an e-learning day today. The Humane Society for Hamilton County is also asking for donations of 1-gallon jugs of water for its animals. The shelter says it does not have the resources to boil enough water to support the more than 300 animals in its care. Donations can be dropped off at the location on Pleasant Street in Noblesville.
New this morning, 2 Gary SWAT officers are hurt and a suspect is dead following an hours-long standoff. The situation started around 2 Monday afternoon. Gary officers had tracked down a man wanted in connection to a homicide in Merrillville. When officers tried to make contact, the suspect barricaded himself inside of a home. After 2 hours of negotiations, SWAT began to move in. As the team entered, the suspect opened fire, striping Corporal James Nielsen in the chest. Another officer, Corporal John Ardabe, was hit in the chin and abdomen by shrapnel. The suspect, 29-year-old Keenan McCain, was shot and killed. Both officers are expected to make a full recovery.
Also new this morning, a pretrial conference has been set for March for the semi-truck driver arrested in connection to a deadly crash on I-65 in Boone County. 34-year-old Matthew Lewis Small told police he was driving northbound on I-65 near the 129-mile marker and looked away from the road to set his coffee mug down when he ran into slowing traffic. 21-year-old Mariah Tomey, 19-year-old Caden Kirk, and 1-year-old Hadley Tomey were killed. 14 others were injured. Small faces 3 charges of reckless homicide. A jury trial has been set for April 21st.
Meanwhile, the truck driver accused and charged in an interstate crash that killed a mother and her twins has entered a new plea. Bruce Pollard pleaded guilty but mentally ill to several criminal charges, according to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. 29-year-old Elena Coons and her 18-month-old daughters died after Pollard's semi slammed into construction traffic on 465 near the the Keystone exit back in July. A judge will still have to approve the plea deal. No word on what sentence Pollard could now face.
We are hearing the terrifying moments after an apartment caught fire on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Neighbors working together to save 2 children after a mother was forced to throw them from a 3rd-floor window. This is video from that scene. The fire broke out around 9:45 Friday night at Pangea Prairie's apartments near 46th and Arlington. We now know there were 13 calls to 911 reporting the fire within just a few minutes. Many of the callers witnessed a woman, her 3-year-old and 7-month-old child trapped in a 3rd-floor apartment. Firefighters say the calls clearly illustrate the fear and panic residents felt as they worked to make sure everyone got out safely.
There's a lot of houses in there. Y'all need to hurry up.
Anybody? Baby's out the window. They're throwing the baby out the window? Yes, we got the babies.
Thankfully, the mother and both children are okay. IFD officials say the calls also helped responders gain a better picture of what they would be up against when they arrived on scene. They also say information given to dispatchers is vitally important and may help save time during a rescue.
Very scary situation there. Well, it is 5:06. A meeting to discuss the future of a local fire department gets heated as citizens question the process to make major changes.
Nobody is going to ask the president if this is going to be nighttime, daytime, how are you going to do it? No discussion.
Till 8 in the evening, 9 in the evening. I'm just curious about that.
Right, we're done. If you want to ask questions, you can go to that microphone. We're not going to sit here and argue.
Last night, the Owen County Fire Territory parted ways with the Owen Valley Volunteer Fire Incorporated Group, instead approving the hiring of 3 new paid positions. The decision comes after the department, made up mostly of volunteers, failed to reach a contract agreement with the board. Lieutenant Joe Fry told RTV6 the group never had a chance to negotiate the terms of that contract.
It was never, ever about the money. It was more so about, us showing up for the community. We were absolutely 100% for graduating towards paid personnel. However, we wanted to be a little bit of a say-so, have part of it. And they've just seized communication with us and went their own way.
The new positions will be 1 full-time firefighter and 2 part-time firefighters.
Hiring Hoosiers is our initiative here at RTV6 to connect you to employment opportunities, resources, and education. One major challenge for Hoosiers living with disabilities is finding a job. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live with more details on an organization working tirelessly to help change that. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning, Meredith. So while working on this story, I heard an alarming statistic. The unemployment rate for individuals with disabilities is about 80%, and Ability Indiana is working to curb that here in Indiana. So Ability Indiana is an organization that works to employ individuals with disabilities. They are currently partnered with 29 different businesses in Indiana, like Postmaster's Mailing Service in Indianapolis. Katie Stafford Cunningham is the COO of Ability Indiana, and she says the program has made a big impact in the lives of a lot of people.
It's made a huge impact. I mean, people can go out, they make friends at work, they create great relationships, they're able to be out and about with their friends, and they can make money and spend it just like everybody else does. So it's really made an impact on people's quality of life. If that's what they choose to do, then that's what they should be able to do.
Stafford Cunningham tells me on average they employ 220 Hoosiers every month in 2019. Now, coming up in the next half hour, you're going to hear the story of a young man who's found his freedom through this program. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 5:09. 6 Democratic presidential candidates will take to the stage tonight for the final debate before the Iowa caucuses. The fireworks have already started. Controversy is brewing between Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Warren. Warren is accusing Sanders of telling her in 2018 that a woman couldn't win the White House, but Sanders denies that claim. At the bottom of the pack, businessman Tom Steyer and Senator Amy Klobuchar are hoping to boost their profiles during that debate. Meanwhile, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg is getting a boost of star power ahead of tonight's debate from actress-singer Mandy Moore. Moore joined Buttigieg at a town hall in Ames, Iowa last night, where she spoke passionately about why she supports him.
He's a veteran, he's brilliant, he's a Rhodes Scholar, he speaks 7 languages, he's compassionate, he's authentic, he's a real human. I don't know, I feel like that's a quality that's often overlooked in a presidential candidate. Mayor Pete, along with Senators Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and former Vice President Joe Biden, lead the pack. Tonight's debate is set for 9 p.m.
If you're a dog owner, you can have your furry friend take part in a nationwide study that will hopefully improve the understanding of not only the lives of dogs, but the lives of humans as well. 40 scientists and researchers from across the country, including one from Purdue, are looking for dogs to take part in the Dog Aging Project. Study organizers say dogs are good models for humans because they have similar genetics to us, share our environment, and also have similar diseases and health issues. Once enrolled, you'll need to complete surveys about your dog's health and lifestyle. Dogs will need to continue to visit their veterinarian for regular annual exams. This will also be part of the study. There is no cost to participate. It is a 10-year study, however. To sign up, we have a link with all the information on our website, theindychannel.com, and the RTV6 app. Here at 5:11, let's take a look at the forecast. Todd, a good day to get out and walk the dog.
Yeah, you know, it'll be pleasant out there later on this afternoon with above normal temperatures. Even this morning, it's cool. We're in the middle of January, and temperatures are sitting in the 30s, so you have to bundle up a little bit, but no weather-related issues. With skies that are just going to be partly to mostly cloudy, whether you're walking the dog or starting your morning commute here, you'll have temperatures hovering right around that 34 to 35 degree mark, with skies, at least for right now, that are mainly clear across the area. Although I think ultimately the clouds will win out throughout the day today. It's going to be one of those days where we kind of toggle between some sunshine and cloud cover, but thankfully all this rainfall will stay to our south. It's going to scoot off and become an issue for the East Coast. So here in central Indiana, partly to mostly cloudy skies, upper 40s to the north, should climb into the low 50s right along I-70, then down to the south, temperatures into the mid-50s later on this afternoon. Tomorrow's still mild, but we introduced the chance of rain back into the forecast. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The Ukrainian gas company at the center of President Trump's impeachment was hacked by Russian military agents. Still ahead, what U.S. officials say they were looking for.
Rapper Akon officially has his own city. Coming up, details on the new venture, including the not-so-creative name. We'll be right back.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
New this morning, a report shows the Ukrainian gas company at the center of President Trump's impeachment was hacked by Russian military agents. U.S. cybersecurity officials say that the agents had been working to hack Burisma since at least November. President Trump was impeached last month for pressuring the Ukrainian government to investigate that company after learning Hunter Biden, son of former Vice President Joe Biden, served on the company's board. It's not clear yet what the hackers found, but security experts think they may have been looking for information to hurt Joe Biden's presidential campaign.
Meanwhile, today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will meet with her caucus to decide when to vote on House impeachment managers. Once those managers are named, the House can formally send the articles of impeachment to the Senate, where the trial will happen. But when that trial could start is still a mystery. It's also unclear whether Democrats will succeed in their demand for witnesses. At the White House, the president expressed his support for an outright dismissal of the articles of impeachment against him, but that's not likely to happen as Senate Republicans signaled they would reject the idea to vote on dismissal.
In Virginia, proposals for stricter gun regulations are closer to becoming state law. They include expanding background checks to include private sales, banning guns in public sales, and adopting a red flag law, which would allow officers to seize guns from people determined to be at risk of hurting themselves or others. Governor Ralph Northam pledged to pass new gun laws following last year's mass shooting at the Virginia Beach Municipal Center, which left 12 people dead.
In Kentucky, coal miners are fighting for paychecks from the train tracks. Miners are blocking trains from leaving eastern Kentucky, saying Quest Energy hasn't paid them in nearly a month. They were expected to be paid Friday, then told to wait until Monday, but that date was pushed back again. Now they say they won't leave the tracks or go back to work until they get paid. A similar protest was staged by miners in Harlan County last summer when coal company Black Jewel filed bankruptcy. The final checks issued by the company bounced, leaving many workers with overdrawn accounts. Those miners were eventually paid and let the coal train pass. Here at 5:17, time for a check at our Tuesday forecast.
And it's a decent forecast for us here as we start our push towards the middle of the week, as Storm Team 6 radar is pretty quiet across the area this morning, and that's the way it stays throughout the entire day. We throw the clouds on for you, and you see we have this nice pocket of clear skies currently out there this morning, but the trend will be for clouds to increase just a little bit as the day goes on. We're sandwiched between two storm systems. The bigger one to the south, that is going to move up the east coast. That will not bring us any rainfall, but there's a weak little front off to our west that's going to start to slide in our direction over the next 24 to 36 hours. Today, it just increases the cloud cover. Tomorrow, that front will bring us a little bit in the way of some rainfall moving back into central Indiana. 36 degrees outside right now with the clear skies, just a light wind out of the south. You'll need the jacket as you walk out the door, but you will not need that real heavy coat, I don't think, throughout the day today. 34 in Bloomington, 32 in Crawfordsville, 34 as you work your way from Greenfield over into the Richmond area. So today we go back and forth between partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures by the noon hours should be approaching the mid-40s, and then as we work our way throughout the afternoon hours, temperatures climb up into the low 50s. Our normal high is 35. We're already above that right now, and so 52 for the middle of January, not bad whatsoever. Get out there and enjoy. I want to fast forward, though, to tomorrow because rain enters the forecast, and I know everybody's kind of a little on edge about more rainfall heading our way after the heavy rains and the flooding that's been occurring since the weekend. The rain showers tomorrow are all very light. They're pretty spotty in nature. You probably want to have the umbrella handy, but they're not going to be heavy enough to aggravate the flooding situation across central Indiana, where we do still have river flood warnings out there. So the more of a nuisance rain for us throughout the day tomorrow than anything. Flooding won't be a concern. And then once that front goes through Thursday, it's going to be a nice quiet day for us across the area. So tomorrow's mild still as those showers move in. Temperatures get up to 56 degrees. The trouble day is going to be on Friday. It's more of a significant storm for us. Temperatures are colder, so it does start as a little bit of a wintry mix on Friday, but then the warmer air starts to work its way in. That'll transition any wintry mix over to all rain, and that will continue into Saturday. Could see an inch of rain, and that will be enough to make the flooding situation a little worse here across central Indiana. As far as the wintry mix, could see some minor issues for the Friday evening drive before those warmer temperatures take hold. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now at I-465 and Washington Street. This is over on the west side of town where traffic is picking up, as you can see, but it's traveling up to speed. No major issues, so let's plan out your commute. Taking a look at our Traffic Now map. On the southeast side, if you're driving from Acton Road on I-74 to the I-465 ramps, it's a quick 5-minute commute. No delays there. So let's take a turn up to I-69, State Road 37 in the Fishers area. You can see that traffic here is moving along just fine, northbound and southbound. We'll continue to monitor your roads, and we'll keep you updated on crashes and delays.
Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos has pledged $690,000 to help with bushfire relief efforts in Australia, but now he's facing some backlash. Critics are slamming the CEO for not doing more to help with recovery efforts in light of his vast wealth. According to an estimate by Business Insider, Bezos, whose net worth is more than $100 billion, makes the same amount of money as his donation in less than 5 minutes. Some did come to his defense, noting that Bezos didn't have to donate anything. Wildfires have devastated Australia since late July, killing at least 28 people and burning more than 2,000 homes.
If you had your own city, what would you call it? Well, if you're Akon, you keep it simple and call it Akon City. The Grammy Award-winning rapper and entrepreneur tweeted on Monday that he finalized the agreement for his own city in Senegal. He originally announced plans for the city in 2018, saying it would be built on 2,000 acres and located about 5 minutes from the country's new international airport. Residents exclusively use his digital cash currency called a coin, Akon says that he wants to make a big impact in Africa. His most recent venture is Lighting Africa, which provides a solar power.
I think I would just go with Meredithville, maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, an Ohio couple has been married for nearly 7 decades. Coming up, what they say is the secret to their long-lasting love.
And coming up at 6, a town concerned with curbs that could end up flying onto people's yards. Our Rafael Sanchez gets to work to help with the solution for what can become a hazard on Main Street. We'll be right back.
It's a Monday only at Ashley Home Store.
An Ohio couple celebrated 68 years of marriage Sunday, surrounded by friends and family. Since the beginning of their marriage, Howard and Geneva Cully have been known for their color coordination. For decades, they could be seen wearing matching outfits, which earned them the nickname the Twins. On their anniversary, the couple shared their trick to a long marriage.
Keeping your mouth shut. Yeah. Being very careful of what you say. It's better off not to say anything than have to go around later with your head between your tails and say, I'm sorry for what I said, because you've already said it.
Men everywhere listen to Howard. The couple had their first date in 1952 and have been together ever since. Here is to many, many more years of wedded bliss.
Oh, they are too funny. We've seen them before with the matching outfits.
We have.
I love them.
Yes. All right, Todd, what is the weather looking like today?
You know, it's a decent day for us for the middle of January. You have to keep that in mind. We've been running above normal here, but reality is going to hit next week. So that's a little preview of your 7-day planning forecast. 30s as you walk out the door here this morning, so definitely chilled. Definitely need to have the jacket, but skies are mainly clear across the area. Highs today will be in the low 50s from Indianapolis to the south. In fact, Columbus mid-50s, a little cooler to the north, but all those temperatures are above normal. We'll talk more about that extended forecast, which features a return to winter and a big storm system by the weekend coming up in the next half hour. The time now is 5:27. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, Indiana University is now facing a class action lawsuit over mold in its dorms. Why some are claiming that IU misled students about those conditions.
For people with disabilities, finding a steady and decent paying job can be difficult. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson gives us a look at how a local organization is helping Hoosiers find work in our community. But first, here at 5:30, we want to check in on the weather with meteorologist Todd Clausen.
Yeah, Todd, what's going on out there?
You know, not a whole lot, and that's always good news, right? As you walk out the door here this morning, as you head to work, the kids head off to school, you don't really need anything but the jacket as of right now. Once the sun comes up a little after 8 o'clock this morning, I checked the sunglasses off. You'll need them at times throughout the day today. It's not going to be one of those days that's completely sunny, and your outdoor workout that is good to go, whether it's this morning or at any point throughout the day today. Temperatures right now hovering just above or below freezing in many locations, right at freezing in Plainfield, Shelbyville, 34. It's 32 degrees rather up in Noblesville. 35 is the current temperature in Pendleton. So skies are clear right now, but you do notice the clouds already starting to increase, and we're just going to kind of toggle back and forth between clearer skies at times throughout the day today when we have some sunshine, and then there'll be some periods where the clouds will move in and skies will be mostly cloudy across the area. So it's a quiet day. I wouldn't give it a perfect 10 for the day today, even though temperatures will be well above normal due to a little bit of cloud cover at times, but can't complain for the middle of January. 45 degrees by the noon hour with high temperatures eventually, Lauren, climbing up into the low 50s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now over on the Near East Side, I-70, a rural street in Keystone Avenue. Traffic's picking up northbound or eastbound and westbound rather in that area on the east side. No issues to slow you down. So let's take a look at our traffic now map. Planning out your commute coming in from the south side as you're traveling northbound right now along State Road 37 from Stones Crossing Road up to I-465. It's a 12-minute drive, so everything there is traveling up to speed, but heads up to south side drivers. Got to show you down here where we've been monitoring road maintenance on I-465 a little east of State Road 37 from our INDOT traffic camera in that area. We do have a backup. This is due to road work in the westbound lanes between East Street and State Road 37. We have about a 45-minute schedule for the construction going out from here. 2 left lanes are closed. Give yourself that extra time. As you can see, things are backing up.
Today, the Northwest Hendricks School Board is expected to discuss a controversial social media policy that the ACLU calls a violation of the First Amendment. The policy says parents should not use social media to make rude or offensive comments or fuel outrage towards school staff or schools. It's been in effect since 2016. One parent tells Call 6 Investigates the district handed out copies of the code of conduct at a December board meeting. Officials say that was in response to, quote, inappropriate and disruptive behavior at the previous meeting. This comes after months of criticism from parents in the community over the handling of a sexual misconduct claim against a Tri-West High School teacher. Parents who violate the code of conduct can be removed from school property and banned from school grounds. Tonight's meeting on this policy will be held at 6:30 at Tri-West Middle School.
It's 5:33. Indiana University is now facing a class action lawsuit over mold in its dorms. The legal action represents approximately 3,000 students. Class action status was granted last week. The lawsuit claims that IU knew about the mold conditions in the dorms for several years and misled students about the severity. It also claims that many students got sick and that the university encouraged doctors at the campus health center not to tell students that the symptoms could be caused by mold.
In some cases, unfortunately, some of the students became seriously ill and really suffered the loss of their first year of college.
Well, the mold forced students to move out of their dorms in the fall of 2018. Two of the impacted buildings, McNutt and Foster, are under renovation now because of that problem. They are expected to reopen sometime in the next year. Mold was also detected in nearly 24 rooms at Teeter Quad.
The president of Franklin College has been fired after facing charges for child sex crimes in Wisconsin. The college made the announcement after President Thomas Minor was arrested in Sturgeon Bay last week. Prosecutors expect to file charges of attempted child enticement and exposing a child to harmful materials. A Franklin College spokeswoman says the school fired Minor after becoming aware of the, quote, deeply disturbing incident. Minor had previously announced plans to resign at the end of this academic year.
At 5:35, police are investigating after two people were found shot and killed inside of a car in a Greentown convenience store. Authorities say a man and a woman were inside the car around 6:30 last night at Casey's General Store parking lot. Both appear to be suffering from a gunshot wound. No one else was in the vehicle when officers arrived. Police say they do not believe there's an ongoing threat to the public, and they're still working to learn more.
The man accused of killing Dr. Kevin Rogers has agreed to plead guilty to murder and burglary. 18-year-old Devin Seats admitted to killing Rogers at his Northwest Side home in October of 2017. Seats also admitted to burglarizing 3 other homes. He faces a sentence of up to 50 years in prison. 3 other suspects in the case pleaded guilty to burglary charges. Seats is scheduled to be sentenced January 23rd.
Today, Governor Eric Holcomb will outline his agenda for 2020. The State of the State address starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Holcomb is expected to address concerns over teacher pay. Of course, we'll have live coverage this evening on the news at 7 on the RTV6 app, the RTV6 Facebook page, and also at the IndyChannel.com. A new proposal in the State House would allow undocumented immigrants to legally drive.
That's currently against the law in Indiana because proof of legal status is needed to have a license. The author of the bill says the proposal would not allow an undocumented person to vote or provide a pathway to citizenship. Representative Chris Campbell and other advocates say the change would benefit all of Indiana.
This has been proven to be good for the economy. It makes our roads safer. All of these things have been well documented, and it lowers the rate of uninsured motorists.
We deserve basic human rights, like driving in the street without the fear of being deported. And so we thank everyone that's here today, and we just urge the state to really live to its potential.
For an undocumented immigrant to be eligible for a driver's card, they would have to have a tax ID and pass both driving tests. The bill has yet to receive a hearing in the Indiana House.
At 5:37, owners of an Eastside grocery store are heartbroken and frustrated after finding their business broken into and ransacked. A&I Variety Meats and Produce opened last year to serve an area that's known as a food desert, where residents have a hard time accessing and affording food. Sunday morning, owner Robert Hurst found his store burglarized. The small business on the corner of 38th Street and Post Road is now closed and lost thousands of dollars in stolen food.
Why? Why would you do this, man? You just could have came up in here. You know, just, hey, Robert, I don't have it. Okay, cool. What you need?
Well, A&I did not have security cameras, and the alarm system did not alert police at that time. There is an investigation underway, and police say that they found shoe prints, even drops of blood inside the store. Hearst says that his insurance company will be out today to survey that damage. It's 5:38. Hiring Hoosiers is our initiative here at RTV6 to connect you to employment opportunities.
And since 1976, the organization Ability Indiana has been working to help Hoosiers living with disabilities find a job that will connect them to new opportunities, independence, and friendships.
And our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with all the details on how adults with disabilities are finding that new sense of freedom. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning, Meredith and Lauren. So the national average for people living with disabilities, their unemployment rate is 80%. And that's what Ability Indiana, is trying to combat by partnering with 29 different businesses around Indiana to hope to get these people to work. Max Gillian spends most days here at Postmasters, sorting mail and taking it on his route.
I do a mail route at the Government Center for Department of Revenue. I work in the basement mail room, and I scan packages into a system, and then I take a palm with me on my route.
Gillian is just one of millions of Americans living with a disability that to some makes him unemployable.
Traditionally, individuals with disabilities are underemployed or unemployed. The national average unemployment rate for individuals with disabilities is about 80%.
Katie Stafford Cunningham is COO of Ability Indiana, an organization working to put people like Max Gillian to work.
I've had a lot of good people that I've worked with, and I've gotten along with pretty much everybody here.
We're very proud of the people that work here. We're proud of the Ability Indiana program, and we really like to open up our doors and show anybody that's willing to come in and take a look and see what great employees that the people with disabilities can be.
Joe McKinney is the Director of Operations at Postmasters, one of the many companies that partners with Ability Indiana.
They're all hardworking. They're very dedicated. They're so happy to have the dignity of work and the opportunity to work just like you and I do.
Having worked at Postmasters for 3 years, now Gillian is ready to find more freedom.
And someday I'd like to maybe get out on my own, maybe get a one-bedroom apartment or whatnot, or whatever I can get to.
Leaders with Ability Indiana say in 2019, on average, they employed 220 people each month. For more information on Ability Indiana, the businesses they work with, or if you want to work with Ability Indiana, you can head to this story over on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. You can see she has her heavier coat on. You'll need that this morning as you walk out the door and as the kids head off to the bus stop, as we're dealing with temperatures that are sitting in the 30s. Some of you a little above freezing, a little below, so we'll kind of average it out for you this morning with a 34-degree forecast for the off-to-school temperature. As the kids come home from school, though, it's actually going to be pretty decent out there, all the way up to 52 degrees, putting us well above normal, with skies that are going to be partly sunny across the area. We are just missing out on some rain down to our south. We need that to stay to our south, and it will. It gives us another day to dry out before some rain chances do return in the coming days. Tomorrow is a moderate chance of some lighter rainfall, and then Thursday we get a break, but then things really start to ramp up on Friday and Saturday. Heavier precipitation's heading our way. It starts as a wintry mix before going over to all rain. More on that coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. The race is heating up for the Democratic presidential candidates fighting for the nomination. Coming up, the accusations being made between the top contenders before tonight's final debate.
It was the battle of the Tigers for the National College Football Championship. Still ahead, highlights as LSU and Clemson faced off in the title game. We'll be right back.
Always a way to make life better. Philips Sonicare.
A day after New Jersey lawmaker Cory Booker announced he's suspending his campaign, 6 Democrats will take to the stage tonight in Des Moines, Iowa, for the final debate before voting begins. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the details.
Democratic candidates Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren may agree on many things, but one thing the two apparently don't see eye to eye on is who can win the 2020 presidential election. Warren alleging the Vermont senator told her in a 2018 meeting that he didn't think a woman could win the White House. In a statement, she says, among the topics that came up was what would happen if Democrats nominated a female candidate. I thought a woman could win. He disagreed. Overnight on CNN, a Sanders senior campaign advisor denying the comment.
But clearly Bernie Sanders did not say that a woman could not win. That clearly is not what he said.
The friction between the two beginning days earlier after a separate report claiming the Sanders campaign circulated talking points that criticized Warren for being a candidate for the elite.
I was disappointed to hear that Bernie is sending his volunteers out to trash me.
Sanders not denying the report, but saying it's a view he doesn't support.
We have hundreds of employees. Elizabeth Warren has hundreds of employees, and people sometimes say things that they shouldn't.
The one thing the two do agree on is defeating Donald Trump. The president quick to lash out at another Democratic contender, billionaire Mike Bloomberg, whose political ads criticized Trump's efforts to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, tweeting, Mini Mike Bloomberg is spending a lot of money on false advertising. I was the person who saved pre-existing conditions in your health care. Bloomberg firing back, tweeting, glad to see you're watching our ads. I know management isn't your strong suit, so perhaps you don't know your Justice Department supports a suit that would undermine protections for pre-existing conditions. Now heading into what should be a lively debate tonight, a new Quinnipiac poll shows health care is a key issue for Democrats. And the same national poll shows Joe Biden leading, followed by Sanders and then Warren. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
At 5:47, confessed Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz is back in court after reportedly assaulting a corrections officer. According to the incident report, a deputy asked Cruz not to drag his sandals on the ground when Cruz attacked him. Cruz gave the officer the finger before he hit the deputy in the face and tried to take his stun gun. He's now facing assault charges. Cruz confessed to being the gunman that killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018. Jury selection was scheduled for January 27th, but the judge pushed it back to this summer.
In Australia, a hazardous smoke from the bushfires is covering the city of Melbourne. Officials say the air quality conditions dropped this morning and are considered some of the worst in the world. Residents are being asked to stay indoors and close windows to prevent coughing and shortness of breath. The country is expected to get some much needed rain this week to help with the remaining fires. And we are also expecting to get some rain this week, Todd. However, ours is not much needed.
Yeah, no, we have plenty of rainfall in the bucket, over 3.5 inches of rain in many locations just for this month. And as Meredith mentioned, we'll be adding to that in the coming days. Today, though, is not one of those days. 36 degrees outside right now. Winds out of the south at 6 miles per hour. And these temperatures are cool, but not terrible for this time of year. Bloomington at 40 degrees, 36 in Martinsville. A couple locations at or above freezing here on the western side of the state. Greencastle, Lafayette at 31 degrees, 32 right now as you make your way into the Crawfordsville area. As we work our way throughout the day today, we'll kind of toggle back and forth between sunshine and clouds. So we'll just call it partly cloudy for the day today. Temperatures by the noon hour into the mid 40s. Highs today will be climbing up into the low 50s. And then this evening we'll be in the 40s. You'll need a jacket if you're going to be out and about. But overall, when you're talking about temperatures anytime in January in the 50s, you're in pretty good shape. Here is the satellite radar picture. When I came in, could see the moon crystal clear out there with the clear skies. But you do notice the clouds starting to increase a little bit across the area. This storm system stays to our south. The snow that you see to our north, that moves across Michigan. We just find ourselves in a pretty good place here throughout the afternoon hours and eventually into the evening hours. If you have plans, you're going to be out and about, maybe in a running club or something like that, that takes you outdoors. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s with mostly cloudy skies. Fast forward to tomorrow. This is when things start to change a little bit. It's still nice and mild tomorrow with temperatures in the mid 50s, but we'll start to introduce the chance of some rain showers back into the forecast tomorrow. The morning commute should be okay, but the lunch hour, that's when the showers start to move in. And then those showers are with us off and on throughout the afternoon hours, but you notice how spotty they are. They're not going to be very heavy either, so it is not going to cause any issues with more in the way of flooding across the area tomorrow, more just a nuisance rain moving through. However, another storm heads our way for Friday into Saturday, and this one will be stronger and will have more moisture moisture. And as it starts off Friday afternoon, it's going to start as a wintry mix, and there could be some issues for the Friday evening commute. The morning one should be just fine, but then eventually warmer air works in. It goes over to all rain into Saturday morning. Could be a heavy at times, and flooding will be a concern by the weekend once again, as we could see over an inch of rain with this system as it makes its way through the area. So Friday into Saturday is the big trouble spot in your 7-day planning forecast. Once we get beyond that storm, it is going to unlock some colder air as winter returns to central Indiana with high temperatures at or below freezing both Sunday and Monday.
Todd, thank you. Here's a look right now at our traffic now map. We are monitoring some road work right now, slowing down drivers. Taking a look here on westbound I-465. Stop and go traffic from East Street all the way over to Man Road. This is due to road work in that area. We're going to look at that spot in just a moment. But we also had some road work wrapping up here on westbound I-70. The area that was slow was near State Road 9. They had the right lane closed for a few hours for construction work. That should be wrapping back up, so hopefully drivers over here in Hancock County, everything will be moving along smoothly for you shortly. But let's take a look down again on the south side where we have lanes blocked for construction here, slowing down traffic in those westbound lanes of 465. You can see we have some movement here, so things are picking back up a little bit from what we saw moments ago, but we'll continue to keep a close eye on this spot and let you know if you need to reroute.
The National College Football Champions have been decided. LSU coming out on top against Clemson in the high-scoring game and remaining undefeated. The game was tied in the first quarter, but once LSU's offense got rolling, there was no stopping them. In the end, LSU overpowering Clemson with a final score of 42-25. Tigers quarterback Joe Burrow led the team to victory, throwing for 5 touchdowns and running for another. The senior from Athens, Ohio, says he hopes the title is something Louisiana will remember for a very long time.
We had great play calls, great coaching staff. I mean, this was a long time coming. This kind of speechless right now. This was fun.
This is the first national championship win for LSU since 2007.
A 6-year-old is making it his mission to help animals impacted by those Australian wildfires. Just after the break, how he's using art to make a difference. We'll be right back.
Other Cruncher chicken sandwiches. Get Rallies delivered.
A 6-year-old in Boston is making it his mission to help those affected by the Australian wildfires. After hearing about the fires, Owen Colley started crafting clay koalas for the cause. He gave them out for any kind of donation to help animals displaced by the fires. It started out just between family, but word got out and more donations came in. So far, they have raised $1,200. Colley is now expanding the project and excited to share his mission with his class at school. Very cute. All right, Todd, let's take a look at that Tuesday forecast.
You know, and it's a decent Tuesday forecast for us here, Meredith. The radar is quiet. That's the way it stays throughout the entire day. Temperatures this morning range from 36 in Indy to 40 degrees right now in Bloomington. We're on our way up to a high of 52 degrees, putting us well above the normal high of 35 degrees. We'll have a little bit of sunshine this morning. The clouds will increase, but again, no rain in the forecast for the day today. That changes tomorrow. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:56. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.